Alf, you look rested. We're going to talk about a fairly new football card product pricing and how it got me a little shook. I'm a little shooken up from it. For many, I think it's going to be a swift kick to the... But we will take a balanced stance today as we talk through the ins and outs of buying product versus buying singles. Stick around. Happy Friday, happy family. We've got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. I don't know who to root for. I don't really care for either team. I think it's one of those weird Super Bowls. I can't really pick an underdog to root for. It's just like, it's like trying to choose between Jason versus Freddy Krueger or something. I can't wrap my head around what I'm going to do, but I'm going to enjoy myself. My kids and I, fam, are going to sit around and watch the game. Enjoy some good food. Before I dive in, we've got our Friday shout outs. The PSA promo code is getting used every single week. Thanks to all the new submitters out there. $25 off for first submitters. SCD25 promo code, a 1 card minimum. That's it. 1 card minimum to take advantage of this code. Check out PSA, see if you like it. JustCollect.com. You've got a collection to sell, but you have no idea where to go with it. What are we going to do? How do we know what it's worth? JustCollect.com has a very easy appraisal form to help get you started. Card Capsule. You need supplies. You don't want to pay a fortune for them. Again, more promo codes down in the video description to take money off for you. Case, top loaders, semi-rigids, all the stuff you need. It'll be there at Card Capsule. All right, today we're talking specifically about 2024 Absolute Football Card product. Now, before I get into some of the downsides here, some of the kind of the obvious things, let's talk about some of the positive things. First off, a great draft class, or what looks to be a really loaded draft class this past year in the NFL. A lot of great quarterbacks. You've got 6 out of the first 12 picks were quarterbacks, which is unheard of. I don't think that's actually ever happened in NFL history. And a lot of them showed promise. Not every single one was lighting the world on fire like a Jaden Daniels or a Bo Nix, but all of them showed steps forward, whether that's Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr. showed flashes. J.J. McCarthy didn't take a snap because he was injured, but in training camp and stuff, he looked pretty good. On top of the quarterbacks, you've got wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jaguars had a good year. There's running backs that came out of the draft. I mean, this might go down as an all-time draft class. We'll have to see, of course, how it pans out. We can't see the future on these careers, but this past draft class was great. And for breakers, that is good news. Breakers love a great draft class. And so even for a product, this is absolute. This is not Prism. This is not a National Treasures or Flawless. It's absolute. Now, hobby boxes came out and sold out at around $400. What are the big chases in these in absolute? It's the kabooms, the kaboomies, as Mike Petty would say. The kaboomies is what everybody's after. All you hear about on social media, all the vlog shows, all the young people, all the repackers, they're looking for the kabooms. They want the kabooms to put in the repacks. It's all the rage. Kabooms and downtowns. We talked about downtowns yesterday and kind of I don't know if they're AI generated images or something weird's going on with the downtowns. The kabooms are where it's at. Everybody's looking for those kabooms. Now, there is a 228 card checklist. 100 of them are vets and 100 rookies, and the other 28 cards are the rookie prime materials cards. So you've got a mix there. And hobby boxes, they guarantee 3 autograph cards. Now, I know a lot of the breakers, they're really hunting for the kabooms. There's the gold kabooms, and I think it's the green kaboom is the one of one. The gold kabooms go for a lot of money. Now, where are those hobby boxes right now on the secondary market? They're about $600 is what the asking price is. If I go into like a DA Card World or Steel City or one of them, it's about $600, $650 I think is what it's going for. On eBay, I saw one that sold for $550. I guess you add tax, shipping and all that, maybe $575. So the secondary market price has gone up there. Of course, breakers are breaking it, looking for that stuff. To me, this price point is still too high to really get good value out of it. $550, $600. I know in the sports card hobby, that's actually not a bad price, which is crazy to think about. That's like pretty average, normal pricing. And there is a great draft class here, and there is chase cards here for sure. I think it's probably more like a $150 to $200 box where you're really seeing good value out of it if you are a collector trying to buy a box to open it. Obviously, we're way past that price point, but here's kind of where I'm looking at this. If I'm looking at what are the top cards that are selling recently out of this set that just came out a couple of months ago, and really what we're looking at are gold kabooms that are in the $10,000 to $20,000 range. And there's recent sales of Mahomes at 10 grand. There's Caleb Williams, I think, that went for like 12, 15. There's a Jaden Daniels that went in that 12, 15 range, something in there. Randy Moss Gold Kaboom went for $8,100 recently. CJ Stroud, $7,800. Another Caleb Williams went for $7,700. So there are some five-figure cards coming out of these boxes, but keep in mind the golds are out of 10, so they're extremely limited. That's the reason why you've got that extra price point. So I'm looking at this as like, okay, I'm paying $500 to $600 for a lotto ticket, essentially. The biggest prizes between $10,000 and $20,000. It feels like a lot of money to scratch off at a $10,000 to $20,000 kind of top. And I understand, I'm sure the one-of-ones of these, the Mahomes one-of-one is, maybe that card is a $50,000 card. I'm not sure. People will pay up, of course, for the one-of-one versions. But if I'm looking at this from the standpoint of a just middle-class family, collector family, let's say, so somebody that doesn't have $500, $600 to throw around at a hobby box and maybe isn't interested in getting in on a break for this, maybe that's just not their thing. I'm just a mom and dad, looking at this whole industry and thinking like, you know what, I'm not really doing the break thing, but my son, maybe they're big Falcons fans. My son really likes Michael Penix Jr. How can I get a really cool card for him? Well, I went on eBay just to see what are sold listings looking like for some of the hot rookies. Michael Penix Jr. would be one of these. And there are the Tools of the Trade cards. I've actually always really liked these cards out of the Absolute set. Tools of the Trade. And it's usually got like, 2 or 3 different little little patches in there. And then it's got an autograph. Granted, sticker auto and Absolute, from what I know, they're all sticker auto. Some people are like, ooh, they're fading it. A sticker auto, like a vampire coming out into the sunlight. Fine, that's fine. But not everybody can afford on-card autographs and the premium you have to pay for those. So let's say you've got 10, 12-year-old that say, Dad, I'd really like a cool autograph card, Michael Penix Jr. for my birthday coming up. And look, maybe they're looking at $100 price range. And $100 is a lot of money, but I'm thinking like this is a realistic price point for middle class, upper middle class family to buy for their kid. That's all they want. They just want one really cool Michael Penix Jr. card. For $100, and then on the higher end, $200, $100 to $200, there are these cards where you've got 3 or 4 patches in there, and it's got the autograph. And they're busy designs or busy design cards, but I actually think they look pretty cool. So if you are a collector, again, when you just wait 2 months, and of course, as more products come out, these prices probably come down even more. There are opportunities there on the singles market, even for some of these guys that are highly touted, that are hyped. Michael Penix Jr. along with Drake May and JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams. We're going to get through the draft. Everyone's going to get excited about their team. The New Orleans Saints will have Spencer Rattler. I don't want to talk about our Saints. Anyway, everyone is going to be excited about their particular team, and that is a way that you can get an autograph card, licensed card, Falcons card. It's not a Bowman card for Michael Penix Jr. where he's in his college uni. These are great collector cards. I want to emphasize that because I think it's important on some of these lower tier products. People look at Prism, they'll look at the National Treasures and the Flawless for Panini, and that's kind of like, where you want to be. Again, if we're going back to we actually want to have collectors in the space and people that are enjoying modern cards, ultra modern cards, we have to look at some of these cards in here that are not necessarily just kabooms and say, you know what, there's actually some pretty rad cards in here at good price points for the average Joe. Now, I was also looking at prices for just the regular kabooms because I've been talking about gold kabooms out of 10, which are far more rare and expensive. They're not numbered, the regular kabooms, so there could be a lot of these out there. But again, if I'm looking at kind of prime players on eBay sold listings, whether that's, Mahomes is a little bit more. I think there was a Mahomes that was like $1,200. So basically Mahomes, who, is trying to win another Super Bowl, one of the greats of all time at 29 years old already, his went for about $1,200. That's the cost of 2 hobby boxes right now. And some might say, you know what, I'd rather buy the 2 hobby boxes and take my chances and hope that I get good cards out of it. For me, it's pretty simple. I'd rather pay $1,200 and get the Mahomes version as a singles collector if that's what I'm chasing. The chase is right there for you without having to pay the cost of the boxes, sweat through it, and then probably get far less value out of that box. But take Mahomes out of it, look at average players, or not even just average players. Jared Goff, I think that Jared Goff is like $400 or $500. Great player in the league. That is the cost of the box right there is $500, $600, and a kaboom is a case hit from what I understand. Now, granted, how many cases are out there? How many of the non-numbered kabooms are out there? That's probably a different topic for a different time. But again, it goes back to the singles market, my friends. Before diving in and buying into hobby boxes or breaks, check the singles market for the cards that you're actually looking to hit and see if they might be there. Because outside of gold kabooms that are kind of those big gots, those big gets, check the singles market, collectors. They are out there and they're pretty reasonably priced. All right, friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.